Welcome to the Popish Plot. I'm Nate.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Mike.
And once again, it is time for us to discuss the lesser-known saints of the month of October.
Yes.
Part uno.
So, everyone in heaven is a saint. Few of them have big feast days. These are the other guys who are still awesome. We start off with, on October 1st, Saint Dodo, a monk and abbot. He was trained by Saint Ursmar and lived in what is now Belgium and France.
Yes.
Dodo.
On the 2nd, we have Blesseds. Multiple. Louis, Lucy, Andrew, and Francis Chakichi, who were Japanese martyrs. Louis released... Wait, hold on.
Yep.
Louis released Blessed Louis Flores from prison and then burned alive at Nagasaki.
Yeah.
Lucy, his wife, and their 2 sons were beheaded.
So it's real dark when you're dealing with the Japanese saints.
It's always real dark when you're dealing with any place wherein martyrdom is a high likelihood of probability.
Yeah, I haven't looked into it, but I don't know if we have any non-martyr Japanese saints, just because, Christianity has not been historically big there.
Was the samurai a martyr?
I believe he got...
Blessed, yeah, he was. Yeah, blessed just do. All right, so on the 3rd, we've got brothers Saint Ewald the Dark, a.k.a. the Black, and Saint Ewald the Fair, a.k.a. the White. Both of them are a.k.a. Hewald. They're brothers of the same name. Dark and fair refers to their hair color or their complexion and is used to distinguish them. Both of them were martyred in what is now Dortmund in Germany by those darn dastardly pagan Saxons. The fair was killed with a sword, while the dark was being tortured and dismembered. So, bad times for the Ewalds, but in their deaths they glorified Christ.
Yeah, I feel like tortured and dismembered is not going to get high votes on the list of how would you like to be martyred.
If you had a choice.
Yeah, a choice. I'll take the sword, please.
What would happen?
You're just going to run me through real quick, right? Yes. Excellent. I'll go with that one.
What would happen if they didn't have, obviously different looks? Like, I'm imagining these were like twins too, just be like, name the child this, then be like, there's 2 of them. Name them both this.
Well, listen, they look alike, so they should have the same name.
There's a lot of old-timey families where there's multiple kids with the same name, but that's because,
one died.
And they named the next one the same thing. They weren't alive at the same time.
Like George Foreman's kids. Next!
At least those were numbered.
Next, on the 4th, we have St. Peter, not that Peter, of Damascus. He was the Bishop of Damascus, the Bishop of Damascus, Syria. Was martyred by being tortured, blinded, crucified, and beheaded.
Well, that seems excessive.
It does.
Yeah, I feel like the only either that or the crucifixion part was done very poorly.
I'm
and therefore they got to a point where it's like, he's not dying fast enough. We really just kind of need to speed this
clearly
along.
Done just to make him suffer more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he could have died before he was beheaded. I didn't get any, details.
Sure. Yeah, they're just mutilating the corpse because they're jerks.
And because that gives you, 5 extra points on Munchkin.
So we've had some dark stuff already in October. So we're going to change the pace a little bit. On October 5th, we've got Saint Placid.
Very
yes.
Very calm.
He's mainly known from the dialogues of Pope St. Gregory the Great. And it's possible that St. Placid was a disciple of St. Benedict. But Placid.
Unless, of course, his lake had, monsters.
Placid. Yes, unless it had oversized crocodiles.
Now that you've all had your moment for deep breathing, let's move on to the 6th, where we have Saint Erotis, also known possibly as Saint Erotheis, who was a Greek martyr killed at the stake.
Back to it.
Now, again, it didn't say burned at the stake, so I don't know if it was like a Vlad the Impaler or, just like...
In fairness, a lot of these lesser-known saints are going to be people who lived a very long time ago, when martyrdom was we thankfully live in a world where, for at least most parts of the world, martyrdom is not a regular occurrence.
We're very lucky here in the United States.
Well, physical martyrdom is not a regular occurrence.
Red martyrdom.
There's always, of course, the spiritual martyrdom of living in a postmodern world, but
as each of us is called to.
But you go far enough back, and there were a lot of places that really weren't cool with people being Christian, like outright.
Well, and like you go to the early century of the church, all the saints were martyrs.
Yeah.
Yes,
It
they
wasn't
had to have a big thing about,
Yeah.
this
Can
was a
you
holy person who didn't die of martyrdom.
So what do we do about that? Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And for a lot of them, there's very little information. Like, there's one saint, I don't remember which one, but I believe it is of a city, because it's like, essentially, we know nothing about this saint. Here's a link to the Wikipedia article, where the Wikipedia article is basically, they're connected with the city in their name.
Yep. Well,
Like, that was it.
that's more than most of us will be remembered. So, on October 7th, the first of our 5 for the month Welsh name alerts.
I mean, we have more than that because some of them had relatives and things.
Yes.
You know.
Saint Canog, aka Saint Cenneur, martyr and son of the King of Brecknock, Wales. He was killed in Merthyr Synog.
See, like, I put every information we have because it's a bunch of Welsh names that we can mispronounce.
And in case you didn't get enough of
More Welsh
in
names
case
than
you didn't get enough Welshness on the 7th, on the 8th,
At the change of pace.
just to keep that ball rolling, we have Saint Keyne, also known as Kenya or Cain, who is a hermitess, the aunt of Saint Cadoc, who was one of the 24 kids of King Brichtan of Brecknock.
Wow. That's a lot of kids.
Yeah.
Now, to a slightly less Welshy place, on October 9th, it's Saint Andronicus, an Egyptian hermit, silversmith, and husband. He was born in Alexandria, where he married Athanasia and moved to Antioch after their children died. Possibly of the
from
plague. Yeah, and I don't, maybe that was the big plague of Cyprian. They then returned home and became desert hermits in separate hermitages. And after 12 years, Athanasia, dressed as a monk and going by Athanasius, went on pilgrimage to Jerusalem with Andronicus. When she died, a note with the truth was found on her, and they were buried together.
No. He died shortly later because like they died of old age, so it wasn't like they then killed him so that they were put together.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
just,
yeah.
No, but they
I don't want to live without her.
They lived to see their children no longer alive. They went to become hermits. They were there for 12 years. Traveling then anywhere took a long time.
She disguised herself as a man to be allowed to go on pilgrimage. Good folks. Beyond the fact that, well, obviously he's a saint.
I just with the various names she had, I'm like, I have to tell the full story.
I love it. Athanasia.
Yep. And then on the 10th, we're going to hand this one off to Jess because the name is too difficult for us. I'm sorry, I cannot do this. I cannot be expected to work under these conditions.
All right, on the 10th, we have Blessed Marie Angela Truszkowska, who was born Sophia Camille. And she was born in Karlstad, Poland on May the 16th, 1825.
That's very specific.
Of a noble family of landed gentry.
Ooh.
And she then became a member of the Society of St. Paul.
St. Vincent de Paul.
St. Vincent de Paul.
Also a good guy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I just put in the exact date for unknown reasons that no one will ever figure out.
Because we have it. So many of these people, we don't even know what century they lived in. We don't know what city they died in. Her, we've got some exactitude. It's great.
On the 11th.
It's a name we haven't heard for a while
It's
now.
another one we haven't heard for a while
it's
now.
making a comeback.
But it keeps rolling around. Saint Anastasius V. Really gotta work on figuring out what the numbering scheme is. Given how popular the name was.
Known only to God.
Yeah.
That's like on the great big list of questions. You can just pick one freebie. What's the numbering system on this? How many orders of Franciscans are there? What are the Jesuits up to?
How many angels can dance on the head of a pin?
You're like, I was gonna go with the Jesuits, but now I really want to know about that numbering.
See, this is why you should die in a group. You can then
each pick
coordinate.
The head of the pin one, by the way, I know the answer to that one. It's both all of them and none of them.
Not having bodies and whatnot. But anyway, what do we know about this person?
We know, sorry to those of you who are still trying to, really dig into St. Placid, that they were martyred with St. Placi Genesius and companions. Besides being a martyr, the only other thing we know about him was that he was a priest.
So, you get up to 5 being a martyr priest. So, maybe they're ranking them. I don't know.
Plus, it's always a thing. It's like one dude and companions. Sometimes it's 2 dudes and companions. Like, what made them so special? His case, well, he was a priest. On October the 12th, we've got Saints Felix and Cyprian. They were African martyrs and bishops. They were forced into the Sahara Desert by King Huneric, the Aryan Vandal. We've heard of him before, and he's always a jerk. Up to 5,000 other Christians went with them into the desert, where they would then die.
And these were probably not those Felix and Cyprian.
No. This is, 2 guys who are known together.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. We've got Felix's, we've got Cyprian's.
On the 13th, we have Saint Gerald of Aurillac. A noble, a patron of bachelors, counts, disabled people, the upper Auvergne, and was thought to have severe acne and became blind later in life.
Poor guy.
Wished to be a monk or donate his land to the church, but was told by his friend and bishop that he would do the most good being a faithful and kind noble and caring for the poor in his lands.
Nice.
I have to wonder how bad your acne is. That if you have the paragraph, the story of their life, they're like, you had acne and then went blind. I'm assuming not from the acne, but those were right next to each other on the bio.
I gotta say, on terms of a no, that is probably a really good no. I want to go and join those guys over there and be a monk. I really think you'd be a better Christian here than you would be there.
Well,
take care of these people.
It's important to note, whenever God himself tells us no, it's always because he has a better idea for us. And now he's a saint. He may not have been a saint had he gone into being a monk. It's important to have wise and discerning friends like St. Gerald did. Good call, Nate. On October 14th, it's another Welsh name.
Yay!
We've got Saint Manicus, a.k.a. Manicus, just with a different spelling.
Yeah.
The abbot of Holyhead, Wales.
And on the 15th...
It's fun to say Holyhead.
On the 15th, to finish out this episode in the first half of the month, Saint Fortunatus and Saint Flavia.
Those are great names.
Fortunatus was a Roman martyr, and nothing else is known about them. Flavia, we know that she was martyred, and she might have been killed by pirates, along with her brothers, a deacon, and 30 monks.
Pirates!
Yes. Those like,
look, those are some pirates right there, all right?
It might have been pirates who murdered her with like 30 some other people.
Wow.
Those are some really anti-Christian. I mean, because she's a martyr, so they have to be like really.
She was killed in
actively averse to Christianity as pirates.
Well, again,
she was possibly killed with a group of 30 monks and a deacon. We know they had no money that the pirates wanted.
Right. I'm just saying.
And it was back before they had the red or black flag. So it wasn't like, what's what we're known for. We kill everyone.
Look, I'm just saying, if they were of the sort of pirates that would have been pirates of a red flag, and they came across, and they had no money, and they said, well, we leave no witnesses, they would not be considered martyrs.
No. It's kind of our thing.
So they
also, I think
these were deeply anti-Christian pirates.
These were deeply anti-Christian pirates.
It would be allowed for the pirates to still be a red flag pirate and do that because they didn't steal anything. They had nothing. Unless they took the boat and just, dumped everyone into the sea.
They stole nothing but their lives. So, those are the saints for the first half of October. Do all the stuff. You guys know what to do.
Yep. Go down below. Comment, suggestions.
Like, subscribe, ring the bell.
all those things. And remember, live your faith.
Love your faith.
Share that love.